Pharmacists have to evaluate a whole prescription, do an analysis. I'm trying to quickly in my brain go through, is the patient pregnant? Does the patient have high blood pressure? Does the patient have allergies? If you don't have low iron and you come to a pharmacy asking for an iron supplement, which is scary because iron supplements are Schedule 2, meaning the public can buy it without a script, you can actually cause iron poisoning in your body. So, let's start with who was Carla. I'm going to go with 10 years because 10 years is a long time. Deep down, there was always this desire, is God really big? And when I stepped into CRC that morning, my whole world was turned upside down. I felt, this is your chance out. And I never understood what does it mean, your chance out.
Wow, that's an amazing testimony.
Yeah. Many people might not know this, but I am actually stepping into full-time ministry as well. Excellence is an example that can save a soul. The little ones are looking up to you because you are setting the example. So excellence is much more than doing it perfect and doing it well. We think that excellence is God's part, but it's not. That's our part. So first, let some habits die out and replace those habits with good habits. Faith can be as small as a mustard seed, but the impact that faith has is eternal. Many times I stand there and my emotions are bubbling, and then I ask myself, Carla, what would Jesus do? 85 Rand. She's like, and she quickly opens her phone. She's like, sorry ma'am, I only have 28 Rand for the rest of the month, so I can't buy it now. And I said to her,
What is up, guys? This is Marv, and I've created this platform for individuals who've endured hardships to be where they are today, whether it is through work, through business, or even their personal life, and also for them to share the testimony of what the Lord Jesus Christ has done for them, whether it is through transformation or finding their purpose or even salvation. And so if there's someone that you would like to see here on the podcast to come and impact you in your life, please do not hesitate to comment down the name below in the comment section or reach out to our team. And me and my team, we're going to make it, we're going to do everything at our best ability to bring that person here in the podcast. So thank you very much for your time. Please enjoy the rest of the podcast. Thank you very much for making time to come here. And I just want to say I started this other project, and it's called Project Kaizen.
Yes.
I don't know if you know the word Kaizen, what it means. So it basically means like slow improvement. So it's something that I'm doing in my life, and so I decided that this year I'm going to start a podcast. And to be honest, I scraped through who would be the perfect guest to start with, and I was like, I think I want to go with Carla. I don't want anyone else.
You know, it was your persistence, because I have a very tight schedule.
Yeah, no.
And your persistence on please yeah, see you.
Yeah.
So that was really, that showed me your faith. So I was like, Carla, just take your time that you have and use it. So
yeah, no, thank you very much that you made it. So I would like us, maybe if you can open for us in prayer, and then we can start. Yes, thank you.
Father, thank you so much for this morning, God. We know that this is a desire you have placed in our hearts, God, that has come a very far time. But Father, I want to thank you that you have come and you brought the fire to the seed, Lord, and that it now will grow. I pray that this podcast that is not only casted today, but every person that will watch it in the next few years, Father, will not only live inspired, but their faith will truly be activated. And I thank you so much that this will not only be inspiring to many people, but Father, it will activate them into their purpose, their calling, and to understand it's not only your will, but our actions that will lead us there. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. So we're just gonna jump like straight to it.
Yes.
So I just wanna know if there's someone right now who just tuned in and they wanna watch this whole podcast to the end. What are they expecting to hear from you?
Definitely not the average answers, because since I was matric when I got interviewed, people expect they're going to hear the same thing, like do this or 7 quick ways to get success. But people don't always understand there's a much different approach to success. There's a different way. There's a lot of facets. So if they're only tuned in now, I would encourage them just to stick a little bit through to see the different mindsets that can maybe inspire them to make a few tweaks in their own personal life and see greater success than working only hard and trying methods that many successful people post on Instagram and, for example, on social media. And just say, listen, I'm going to listen to a person who can testify over what happened the last 10 years in her life. So yeah.
Wow, that is beautiful. And just like you already said, like 10 years of your life, and I believe that a lot has happened. I mean, that's the reason you're here, and
Yeah.
that's the reason why I chose you. So, who is Carla?
So let's start with who was Carla. I'm going to go with 10 years because 10 years is a long time. 10 years ago, I was grade 10. So when I met a few teens the other day, I was like, I'm 10 years older than you. And then I realized how much time has passed because it's 2026. When I was grade 10, I was the shyest person. People only sometimes discovered I was in their class in grade 10. I was very shy, very like drawn back. And but I've all my life been someone who within my inside, I speak more to myself in my head than I speak outwards. So I'll think like 10 times before I say something. So that's actually who Carla still is. I am someone who thinks more than I actually speak. Even though some people will argue and say, Carla can stop speaking when you get to know her. I can speak a lot, but I think about things a lot. So who I also am is I'm actually a very deep person. I'm a person that thinks a lot. I process things a lot in my mind. I almost go through every possible scenario of if I say it like this, how's the outcome going to be? If I say it like this, how is this person going to feel? If I send this message, it's like an overthinker, but not in a bad way. It's almost like I judge myself before I speak, but not in a way that I feel I'm minimalizing myself. I'm making myself small. And also, I'm a very passionate person. If I commit myself to something, I'm going to stick it through. And I think that's the one thing. And it's not a fear of failure. It's not because I feel I'm going to disappoint people, even though those factors do matter. It's more thing that, Carla, you said you're going to get it done. So you're going to get it done. And that sometimes that gets me through nights and a lot of different ways and sacrifices to make sure that whatever I've set my mind to do, I'm going to get it done. And in grade 10, it was actually the place where I had my first encounter with God that I realized, like, I think there's more to God, there's more to religion than what I grew up in a traditional church. And it's not to speak bad to the church, it's just really like the area I come from, I thought religion is just something you depend on. It's not something you live. And when I was in grade 10, I had this moment when I said, like, maybe God is really there. Maybe I can actually give my heart to Christ. But there was no people to guide me in it. So I stuck to, the traditional church, went with my parents wherever they went. And in my first year, it's actually where my complete change took place, when I actually got planted in a church that was willing to pursue me, disciple me. So I think all the things that were in me since grade 10, that was almost like, it was just premature. It was waiting to grow. Got activated the day the seed got planted in 2019. So yeah.
Wow, that is so beautiful. Yeah. And I also want to know what currently are you doing now? Like, are you studying or are you working?
So at the moment, I'm working full time. This is my third year. 2023, 2024, my fourth year working full-time. I finished my studies in 2022. So I am working full-time, but this year my year will also look a little bit different. Many people might not know this, but I am actually stepping into full-time ministry as well. Officially from Sunday, the 1st of Feb. Yeah, this Sunday, the 1st of Feb. But it's not going to be the normal full-time ministry that people think. It's not going to just be me working like for the church, because that's not what ministry is. God uses every single person in ministry, but I have the great privilege where I've been called to ministry since I was 17. I knew that I was going to have more time to invest into people, to be intentional about discipleship. So this year I'll actually be doing part-time of both of them. So I'll be working in the pharmacy still as a pharmacist, running a business, from in the mornings, most of the times in the mornings. It's going to be a very dynamic schedule, let me put it like that. If I thought my schedule was ever busy, it's going to get busier, but at least it's not only busy, it's productive. It's making impact. So so I will be working most of the time in the mornings while the children are in school, because I will be working with teenagers. So this is also a very big come true, because in 2018, the 20th of March, I was one night sleeping. I just finished studying for a test, and I was lying on my bed. And like I said, I've always had these thoughts like, is God there? Is there more to life? And this one night I was laying on my bed, and it was a very interesting experience. But that night in Afrikaans, I heard God say, lei die jeug terug na my. And in English it translates, lead the youth back to me. And so then I got obviously into CRC in 2019, and I was part of the students now for 7 years. I was part of the students ministry, and I always thought like students are also youth. And then I always told God that if there's a desire in me that wants to work with teens, I give it to you because you know how to take it further. I'm not going to move myself in church. I'm not going to uproot myself and say, no, Pastor, I want to be under this. Pastor, I want to do this. I'm going to let God do that part because that's His will. And I might just move me out of my own destiny. And when Pastor Louis told me end of last year that he wants to use me in the teenage zone, I bursted in tears because I was like, this is a dream come true from a promise 8 years back. 8 years, and that's a long time. So, I'm really excited. So back to your question, what do I do? I love Jesus with all my heart. And that is why I also became a pharmacist, is not only to dispense and be a legal drug dealer, it's actually to really help people. My heart and whatever helped me through these last 4 years. People think pharmacy is easy. It's not. The emotion you go with and the people, and it's not only about being yelled at or disappointing a patient. It's about sometimes you can't go further than giving them their package. You can't sit with them in a counseling session for 2 hours and help them get through depression or anxiety or someone who just had a miscarriage. You can't sit there sometimes. So then the only thing I can do is pray for that patient. So it's not easy always, but I'm looking forward this year to use my love for people, my love for the youth, and discipling them at the same time investing into patients, because many people don't always click it, but every area where you are exposed influences your mindset for the next area you're going into. And that was a big thing for me. If it wasn't for church, I would never have excellence. If it wasn't for the pharmacy, I would never be able to relate with people because I got so how can I put it well? Churchified. I completely removed myself from the world when I got saved. Like I didn't go out on anything. I was like, Jesus, that's my weekends were Bible, like the whole weekend. I didn't even go out with Christian friends because I was so scared of falling back into the world. But when I had to step into pharmacy, all of a sudden you realize I've been judging people still lost. And you can't get people who are lost saved if you don't actually get to relate with them, if they don't feel you're not judging them. So I'm excited for this year that it's not only going to be twofold, but there's going to be a lot of facets of working as a full-time pharmacist, but being a person that can disciple the youth and also parents, because it's not only the youth I get to work with. I get to work with parents and the people and teachers. So that's what I do, and that's what I'm gonna do this coming year.
So like what mindset had to die for you to be where you are today?
Definitely isolation. I had this idea that, especially in school, if you're a shy person, you always think that you're going to rise to the top, but nobody's going to know. It's like you want to be this overnight success, but actually there was a lot of hard work in the back. I had a very big isolated mindset, and it was, I always joke and say I was safe from isolation and being an introvert because I thought that if I'm going to just do my part, not engage with the world, that's how I'll get success one day. So I had to let go of, I'm going to shape myself, I'm going to make up my own mind, I'm going to get far in life. Because that's what church taught me, is you need community. You need people that are going to shape you. You need people that are going to challenge you, and not to see you fail, but to see you succeed. I mean, I really take off my hat for pastors because they have to stick it through attitudes, like mindsets, to make sure they can influence that person to reach their destiny. They don't benefit anything from it. It's the person that will actually enter their destiny that gets that reward. So I had to give up that mentality of it's me, myself, and I'm going to get success one day. So,
Wow, that is beautiful. So I just want to know, what's something that people assume about pharmacy and, it's completely wrong? Because, I think from our point, we just think you guys are just giving people medicine. Is there more to it?
There is. That's the action. Eventually, that's like the result. That's the outcome, is I close up a package and I hand it to you. But what many people don't know is when a script, for example, comes in, there's a very big evaluation and analysis that takes place. With the patient, will see you quickly scanning the script for 30 seconds. But your brain is going, if I give this levels in the body is going to rise. If the patient has high blood pressure, this is going to be influenced. Your brain goes through all the possible outcomes before you dispense the medication. For example, I had a patient a few months ago. The doctor, I knew her script because she's one of my regular patients, and she was on a water tablet, and then you get water tablets deplete one of the ions in your body. And doctor gave, she already was on a supplement for this specific element. And then she got a new prescription. And then this prescription had another water tablet on and another higher dose of this supplement. So then I immediately thought, if I give this script additionally, the patient might die because the one that's depleting is much smaller than the extra one that's also increasing the levels and a supplement. And that can cause the heart to stand still. So then I had to call the doctor and say, doctor, this is what you prescribed. I just want to make sure, is this correct? And the doctor said if I did not see that, the patient would have died. And she's elderly as well, so her body wouldn't have balanced itself. So back to the question is, pharmacists have to evaluate a whole prescription, do an analysis without the patient thinking, what is standing here? Because that's what they think. They think we try figuring out what's standing on the prescription. No, it's not that. I'm trying to quickly in my brain go through, is the patient pregnant? Does the patient have high blood pressure? Does the patient have allergies? Because many times the patients don't tell the doctor, I'm allergic. And then I have to ask, listen, but doctor wrote this and this, but it does contain this ingredient that many people are actually allergic to. And that's how we get to save lives, but also make sure the patient has a maximum amount of outcome, like a result, the treatment. And also like certain fruits and certain things mix in. Certain antibiotics you can't take with milk because it causes that it doesn't absorb. So there's a lot taking place behind the scenes. And like I said, again, with my previous thing is, pharmacists have a very big emotional role we play. You do get corporate where they take the script, they give you a medication, you leave. But there's a different part to, especially in the community pharmacy where I am. I want to engage with my patient because if they feel safe, they don't feel judged. They don't feel that you're there to think, oh, I know what medication you're using, right? And then let's take someone who doesn't have a script just walking in. I have the solution for their problem, but I have to make sure I don't only sell the product, I sell the solution, because they come in and they say, listen, my head is hurting. Give me this. But then I'll ask, what type of headache is it? Does it feel like tension? Does it feel like a muscle? Does it feel like your neck is stiff? Because different ingredients work on different types of headaches, just as an example. So we play a role in giving you the right solution, that you don't just buy something and hope it works. And that's something people assume. They think we choose something on the shelf. Maybe my favorite color is purple, so I choose the purple box, and I'm going to give you the purple box. It's not like that. It really goes much deeper, and that's why pharmacists are supposed to ask so many questions. Many people think we're mixing with their privacy, but it's not. It's to make sure I help you effectively.
Wow, that is so beautiful. I mean, like something that is a bit off topic. What makes you speak so fluently? Like, honestly, like the way you speak with your words, like, did you have to like read a certain book to learn how to speak?
You know what's the big thing is confidence. Because many people try to think, what will I say for it to sound good? Instead of just overflowing from who you are. You know, this week I had a home cell with teens, and I told them that you can't pour from an empty cup. And it was related to one of the sermons Pastor Louis gave, because an empty cup has to drain itself. It feels it's already empty. Now I have to drain myself even more. But a cup that overflows, flows without noticing something's going out, because there's so much bubbling over. So the reason I speak, according to me, speak fluently is because I'm just speaking who I am. I'm speaking my life. My whole life is a testimony. So if I have to tell people, and I think that's why people think I talk a lot when I first start speaking, because there's nothing to hide. There's nothing to, I shouldn't say this or I shouldn't say this. Yes, there's a filter that says, Carla, don't be stupid, don't say this. But the reason I can speak confidently with a question is because this is who I am.
Sure.
There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to say, no, you know what, I worked very hard to get those 7 distinctions, and then I wondered, should I say what percentages I got? No, just talk.
Yeah.
Like, just share who you are, because I believe personally, when I speak, the right seed will fall on the right soil, and that God will then work with that. Because I might say 2 sentences, you might hear ABC, the other person might hear YZW. You understand? There's different aspects to what you say. So, but yeah, it's confidence in who you are.
Okay. No, that is beautiful. I understand. So while you were talking about pharmacy and patients, and you mentioned something about iron, and I feel like from time to time people tell me that maybe you need iron. What is it really, iron in someone's body?
So that question was actually related to ions, meaning calcium.
Yes.
You know that. So you get in your body, we are made of like elements, and we are made of atoms, and that is what we are made of. But let's speak specifically about the iron, which is IRON, and the element is Fe3+. So many people are confused about this specific element, because we read, especially on TikTok or on Instagram, no, if you have these symptoms, you have low iron. The danger with that is, if you don't have low iron and you come to a pharmacy asking for an iron supplement, which is scary because iron supplements are Schedule 2, meaning the public can buy it without a script, you can actually cause iron poisoning in your body. You can start vomiting. You can actually, like when someone bleeds, for example, if they cut themselves, you can smell the iron, and that can cause iron toxicity in the body, which obviously has a lot of different effects. Vomiting is one of them. Headaches is one of them. So for people to know if I have low iron, meaning should I use a supplement, it has to be tested. You have to do a finger prick where you test the HB, the hemoglobin, or you have to actually have blood drawn that they can see, do you have anemia? And there's always, on a blood test, you'll see there's levels. And back to what people assume. People think pharmacists just do medication. We actually do blood results. We do a lot of deeper. We check the results that came back from labs, because that will help us also understand if the doctor did write the right dose. And it's not to judge the doctor, it's to be a multidisciplinary healthcare center that helps people. So back on iron, many women especially think I have low iron because I feel lightheaded, or I want to faint the whole time, or no, my iron is low because I fainted, or what. Actually, if you have too little iron, just eat more spinach. Green veggies. So interesting factor is that people who are on certain heart medications, blood thinners, are not allowed to eat green veggies again, because this causes the blood even to become thinner, or it becomes thicker. So in any case, I can't remember exactly now, but they contraindicate with one another. So that is why people shouldn't just assume, I don't feel I have low iron. Just have it tested, because maybe it's not that. Maybe you just have it short on vitamin C. Sometimes you have a short on vitamin B. And it's safer to give yourself vitamin B and C, because that your body, if it has enough, it will secrete it. It will come out. Where iron also binds to oxygen, and it binds to vitamin C in the body, and that can cause, like I say, toxicity, because it's not one of those that just gets secreted out of the body.
Wow. When you graduated, you still didn't have ChatGPT there?
No, I told someone this the other day. I am proud of the fact that I got my degree without ChatGPT, because I sat with the teenagers the other night, and when I asked them, what do you do when you don't know the answer? They were like, you ChatGPT. I'm like, oh my word. Like for me, I had to go study. I had to go literally in the index of my, and I'm not that old. Like I'm really I'm a Gen Z. But I had to open the textbook, look, where is this answer going to be? And very seldomly, I used Google.
Sure.
Help me. Where can I find this answer? And still I would go back to a textbook. I mean, I told someone, I only in my first year of university figured out you can watch more than exam videos on YouTube.
Sure.
I thought YouTube was only for maths exams and to prepare me and you show me examples, because that's the only way my mom taught me with YouTube that I was using. I don't know, you can listen worship music and podcasts and you can listen to sermons. So yeah, I got my degree without ChatGPT.
Wow, no, that is beautiful. So just to ask you a real question, do you think almost said ChatGPT, do you think AI is going to take your job in the future?
No. Even though with the whole system of AI, listen, I'm not that clued up with AI, but it will never be able to replace human interaction. it might be able in very developed ways to mimic, but it doesn't have emotion. It can mimic emotion, but it can't, it has no, there's no, I want to say, once someone told me in school, when you look into someone's eyes, you can see the window to their, it's the window to their soul.
Yeah.
If you stare into a robot, for example, and say, I want A, B, and C, it's going to ask you the logical questions, but it's not going to see, listen, I can see there's a tear. Maybe there's something deeper why this person can't sleep at night. And that's where I come in. I mean, I get many patients coming into the pharmacy saying, listen, I can't sleep. Then the easy thing is, okay, these are your options of sleeping tablets. And I'm imagining that's how AI would tell them. A, B, C, D. Where I will ask, listen, is there something bothering you? Or are you maybe comfortable telling me in a private area, maybe in the clinic, that I can actually give you something that will help you? Then you'll realize maybe the person just was in a car accident or they lost someone. So then it's not only a thing of let me give you the medication to treat you, but let me help maybe connect you to the right people that can actually walk this journey with you, because healing is a journey. It's not an overnight ABC, then I'm fixed. So yes, AI has the potential to maybe take over manufacturing and over maybe the dispensing side one day, but it will never be able to replace the job I actually do. Like I said, yes, my job looks like I give medication, but that's not my job. In our studies, the first thing I learned was pharmacist, in Afrikaans it's jy is die bewaarder van medikasie. And I can't translate myself now, but basically you are the protector of medication, because you are protecting the public from misusing, and not misusing in the way that you're addicted. You think I have a deficiency in iron, but maybe you don't. Maybe you literally just need a little bit more exercise. And I mean, many times I send patients out of the pharmacy without selling a product, but I sell them a solution. I tell them, listen, you don't need to, for example, do this and this and this to get rid of acid. You can do this at home. Like someone came into the pharmacy and it was very sad. A student, she just came back to Potch and she had a wound on her skin. And it was painful and it was swollen. And she was asking, can I get A, B, and C? And I said, yes. And she said, how much it's going to cost? And I'm like, no, it's going to be like 85 Rand. She's like, and she quickly opens her phone. She's like, sorry, ma'am, I only have 28 Rand for the rest of the month, so I can't buy it now. And I said to her, well, listen, what do you have in your medicine cupboard? Let's go through that. Do you have Zambak? Yes, I have Zambak. Do you maybe have a gel that you usually put on muscles? Like, yes, I have Voltaren gel. Okay, great. Do you have some salt at your house? Yes, of course. I make food every day. So then I said, okay, dissolve the salt in water, clean the wound. Then apply some Zambak and put some Voltaren on the red area around it. That will take the inflammation away. So I sent her out without selling a product, but selling her a solution that she could go home and now she could help herself with what she already had in her cupboard.
Wow.
So, and I think that's what AI won't do. AI is they're going to maybe be yes to help us, but it's going to want to generate more money instead of helping people where they're already at.
Wow, that is so beautiful. Wow. And so now I understand that you spoke about isolation and that's what got you where you are today. So what would you say it's kind of like the pro tip of getting good grades?
Good grades. Sure. I think this does differ definitely for every single person because we have different study methods since we were little. For me, I don't have ADHD, but I am a very observant and attentive person. So if you're speaking to me, I'm not going to be distracted with something else. Even though I can see there's a lot of things around me, I'm going to be focused on you. And I told this actually to people over the weekend, that what made my last year a success in my own eyes when I was reflecting on the year was we all have a lot to do. And you're going to see I'm going to come back to your actual question, but multitasking isn't a good thing, but it's also not a bad thing. You can have multiple tabs open on the laptop, but you can't work on all of them at the same time. And that's how I see myself. Isolation was, I'm only going to do this, nobody's going to know about it. But where I'm at now is I have 10 tabs open, 10 responsibilities that have to get done today. But when I start with tab 1, I'm going to finish it. Then I'm going to go to tab 2. If I can't finish it and I go to tab 3, I'm not going to keep both open and try to balance it. Balance isn't trying to get everything done at the same time. It's doing something properly that you don't have to redo it with little time that you have left. So, yeah, back to good grades. when I went to class, I wasn't the student that was on my phone during a class. I was sitting, listening. How did the lecturer speak? What examples did they use? Because I had to understand, why is the lecturer teaching me? Is it to see me fail in a test? Is it to see that I get tested in a test, which is obviously the purpose of a test? Or I changed my mindset that no, they're giving me the information I need to go and figure out what's going on in this textbook. They give me a teaching, they give me a lecture. So I made sure in the 45 minutes I sat in the class, I was listening, I was observing. Then when I went back to my hostel room, obviously I was involved in hostel as well. What I did then, and obviously this counts for me in school as well, I was observant in class, and after that, I would make sure that I revised what I've learned. And not only, okay, I have to remember ABC for my text, or for my test. It was, why is A this? I wanted to understand it, because if I understand it, so how I, for example, studied for maths in university and in school, I took memorandums that were there, and I would go from the answer up to the question, not from the question and figure out how they got the answer. I was like, how did the answer be the answer? So I would work it back, and then I would figure out, and this is why I loved maths in school as well. I figured out it's not about the formula. There's many different formulas you can use that they don't even teach you in school. Because in university with our maths, we had FCAG, it's pharmaceutical calculations. They didn't mark the formula, they marked the answer. However you got the answer counted 6 points, not the formula. You could have the whole formulary right and the answer was wrong, you would lose the whole 6 points. It wasn't like in school they mark up until where you went wrong. It was answer, yes, no, that's your result. So I used to study my grades, what was the outcome and why was the outcome what the outcome was. And then I figured out what the process was. So back to how I studied. Then I would revise what the teacher or the lecturer said. Then I would practice. I did more previous, question papers than I could. For matric, for example, I did 38 math exams. I did all the years that I could find before. I even started with 2006 papers, and that time it was 2018. So I did 38 papers. I practiced every single morning at 5 before school. I sat there, just did a few questions. When I couldn't figure something out, I would go lay in my bed because I knew if I relax my brain, it's not tensed, it's not an intention. And then I would say, lie in my bed, maybe for an hour. Then I figured it out in my head. I would go back, write it down, and then I would go on with my day. Or go on with and going to bed and sleep because now I have peace. I figured it out. Then when I got into a test, prayer was a very big thing for me. But it wasn't God help me remember everything. It was God give me the peace, because if I'm relaxed, everything I learned, I know I studied, will come up to remembrance, because that's something also the Bible says, is that God will bring unto remembrance. So it was very good for me with good grades. And what made my grades go down, which many people don't speak about, in third year and fourth year it was right after COVID.
Wow.
COVID, we had no physical classes because everything was on a PowerPoint that you had to do self-study. Now you must understand, someone like myself, I learned in class because I sat in class. I was observant in class. Now I'm on a laptop screen in lockdown at my parents' house. The dog is barking, the grass cutter is on, everybody's doing their own thing in the house. Now there's so many things distracting me while I have to sit and read a PowerPoint. So it was so difficult for me to revise until I remembered. And then I just went back. What did I do when I was in school? Get the content, get understanding, then apply. So that's how I got good grades.
Wow, that's amazing. You have so much information to share. So right now I want to jump into one of the most pivotal moments of your life, and I believe it is your relationship with God. So I just want to ask, how did you get saved?
All right. So
what was this like? Were you party? Or...
Actually not. Like I said, isolation.
Sure.
I told the teens the other night, I wasn't the school kid that when it was vacation, I lined up friends to see them from Monday to Sunday. I did have my friends that I spent time with, but I was the person that my mom would literally ask, are you going to see someone this vacation? I would love just sitting in my room doing nothing or reading a book. And it wasn't the typical reading a book. It was like sometimes I would just chill in my room, pack out my cupboard, sit outside at the swimming pool, lay and look at the clouds. I just didn't like spending time with people. I really didn't. So I was not the party animal in comparison, or in opposite actually. When I was in school, people saw me as the pliggy, the one who does everything right. And and actually, yes, there was a lot of stuff that I also had to deal with, but for me it was, like I said, I didn't want to engage with the world. I didn't want to engage with people. I didn't, because I never like felt that I really belong. And so I had best friends in school, but there was always something in me that this is not going to last. So I would always emotionally distance myself, that if this doesn't work, I would not cry about it. I wouldn't, like, my heart wouldn't be broken about it. Even in relationships in school, I would completely distance my heart with, it doesn't look like it, but I distanced myself that I don't really want to get involved. So in 2019, when I came to university, I was in such a depressed hole. Like I said, I wasn't the person who went out partying. I wasn't the first year that did everything in the hostel. I was like, I'm here to study, and on weekends I'm going to go to my family because I hate porch with all my heart. I moved all the stuff back out of hostel to my parents because they live an hour from here. And I said to them, I'm camping in Porch Monday to Friday. Friday nights you come fetch me, and then I'm going back to my house on a Sunday or until Sunday, and you can bring me back to Porch. That was my life. But I felt myself in such a depressed hole. And the one day, so when I was still first year, we had a compulsory TD, which is telephone service. In Afrikaans is telefoondiens. And the one girl, she's actually the one who invited me to church. Yeah. She said to me, you look very down, what's going on? I told her, no, I'm just going through a very tough time. But I didn't want to share what's going on because I'm this isolated person. It's my business, not yours. Yeah. And that time I was also going through a lot of health challenges. Basically, half of my matric year I was in hospital. So there was a lot of health issues also going on. And I was just really in a bad space because that time already I knew that I was not 100% on the right track. And she asked me, do you want to go to church with me on Sunday? And I said, no, thank you. Because I was like, because I'm this isolated person, I don't want to engage in the world. I don't want people to see I'm weak. I don't want people to see I'm going through a lot. And she said to me, no, listen, let's just try it. We have nothing to do tomorrow morning. Just come with me. And I said, you know what? I really don't have something to lose, but church has never changed my life. So I'll give it a shot, but that's it. But deep down, there was always this desire that I told you about from grade 10. Is God really there? Is there more to religion? Is there more to this Christianity thing? And when I stepped into COC that morning, my whole world was turned upside down, because that was the day I got saved from isolation. Wow. That was the day that I was sitting in my chair, and obviously everybody knows how the process goes. And when the altar call was made, I was like, no way in hell am I picking up my hand. I'm isolated. I'm this person, nobody's going to know what's going to go on. And when Pastor said the second time, just raise your hand in Afrikaans, I was like, okay. And then my hand went up. And then Asha came and she's like, can I walk with you to the front? I'm like, no, thank you. Like, I'm standing here. Because now I'm like, if I'm going to go to the front, everybody's going to see me. And I felt that was exposure. Instead, when I eventually did go to the front, I was completely put out of my comfort zone. So that's one of the things that had to die, was my comfort zone. I had to go to the front, and that morning something broke, because as I was walking, I felt like maybe it was Jesus, maybe it was the Holy Spirit saying, this is your chance out. And I never understood, what does it mean, your chance out? I thought out of a previous relationship, and I didn't understand, this is your way out of isolation. This is your way out of where you've kept yourself captive, not opening up to the world. Sure. So the moment I actually stepped into the altar room, which is a minute later, I shared everything with the girl speaking to me, the altar worker. She didn't even have time to pray for me, because I was just speaking and speaking, saying, this is what I felt, this is who I am, da 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 da. And she's like, listen, someone's going to call you tomorrow for coffee, so you can share everything with her. That day, it was the 2nd of June, 2019, I've never kept quiet about Jesus. My whole life changed. I love Jesus with everything. I sacrificed everything I could to make sure I keep my relationship in the center. So guess what was the first thing? In my first year, I already decided I will not move back home. I thought I was camping in Porch. I said to God, I'll stay in Porch until the day you move me. 7 years later, I'm still in Porch, and now I'm actually stepping into the purpose, or I already am part of my purpose, but into the calling God has for my life.
Sure. Wow, that's an amazing testimony. Yeah. How does faith practically show up in your work ethic?
Number one, not conforming to the ways of this world. So many people know me, know this is my favorite Bible verse, Romans 12 verse 2, that says, do not be conformed to the ways of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The way the world functions is like this. Monday you go to work. After the first hour, everybody says, I have Monday blues. Then Tuesday comes, everybody just keeps quiet, do their work. Long story short, Friday, yay, it's time to just go relax, be with family. Weekend comes, weekend goes. If you're a pharmacist like me, you work every single weekend almost. And then it's just like it was a normal week. Monday, the routine starts again. Faith-filled means what will happen different this week? Not will I do my job well? What type of patient will I see this week? What impact will I have on a patient's life this week? Will I be able to actually do things after work even though I'm tired? I mean, I was part of the student zone for 7 years, and for 3 full years that I was actually working full-time, working 8 till 6 every single day, every single second weekend. So that means my evenings and my mornings, so before 8 and after 6, was completely packed with discipleship. So I had to make up my mind that I'm not just working a normal job to get a salary at the end of the month.
Sure.
I'm actually working because as I'm working, I'm influencing people's mindsets. As I'm going from work, I can use those examples to influence more mindsets. So the whole thing of Romans 12 was, not only am I going to be transformed, but others are going to be transformed by the way I'm changing my mind. So having a faith-filled work environment isn't like I'm reading Bible and I'm praying for everybody. It's showing that I do what I said I'm going to do, like I said at the start, because it's easy to say, this week I'm going to be the best pharmacist. Yeah. Okay, what does that mean? It means also, for example, with pharmacy, there's a lot of frustration. This week, I will not lose my marbles on a patient that yells at me. I will not speak bad about them when they go out. And it's very difficult. I do fail a lot of weeks. I do fail a lot, and I say that honestly. Sometimes I feel like in the pharmacy, I failed more than I actually had success. Wow. But then you get that one patient coming back and saying, listen, you changed my life. You literally helped me so much. Like, my favorite is when patients come back and say, I don't want to buy something, I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you for the way you served me. And the other day when I was helping someone at the till, she said to me, I've never met a more friendly pharmacist than you. You always have a smile on your face. And I realized that's what faith is as well. People are constantly looking at you. People are constantly observing, how did you handle this situation? Many times, like I said, I have failed. But sometimes one of my colleagues would say, I would have not handled that as well as you handled it. And that stems from, how would Jesus have done it? You know those bands that come with, what would Jesus do? It's always in my mind. And like I said, many times I stand there and my emotions are bubbling. And then I ask myself, Carla, what would Jesus do? How would he respond? And that's where faith comes in, because faith can be as small as a mustard seed, but the impact that faith has is eternal, because I can either chase that patient out, not helping them, or I can give them the truth, but with love, and they can actually take it and they can work with it.
Wow. That's so amazing. Why do you think excellence is missing in most Christians?
Because they think God has to do everything. They think, and I'm saying myself, we think that excellence is God's part, but it's not. That's our part. God did everything in excellence. The world doesn't look the way it looks now because of God. It looks the way it looks because of humans. It looks the way it looks because we built factories. We made global warming take place. We are the reason that many things are decaying, and that's because of sin. It's because of a fallen world. Why is there so much poverty? That was never God. But excellence in Christianity is very important, because it's not only you doing a good job. Everything you do is, how can I say it? It's a testimony to draw people. It's a light to draw people. When people see, out of 10 pharmacists, I'm the best one, not by how I only do my job, by the way I treat them, the excellence that goes in even folding the package perfectly and putting the sticker on. And like I said, sometimes I'm in a hurry, but when I'm doing stuff the way I do it, I finish from start to end. I make sure my boss knows I'll sometimes even go into work 6 o'clock in the morning to make sure when I get my work done today, it's done excellently. It's not done half-heartedly. Because, say for example, I want to win someone's heart over to Christ. I want to win someone's soul to come to repentance. If they see I'm slacking, I'm always late for work, you lose the opportunity of them looking up to you. And that's where it's so important, because teenagers especially, they look up to you the whole time. You don't think it, but you might be the eldest, let's say, in the family of all the grandchildren. The little ones are looking up to you because you are setting the example. So excellence is much more than doing it perfect and doing it well to Christ. It's an example to people looking up. Because if I'm the best pharmacist, and not in pharmacy, let's say, for example, at church, when I'm setting up things, when I do it in excellence, someone is admiring it. Let's say in the world, when I'm doing shopping, for example, I have a rule that if I shop in a clothing center and I don't want something, I don't hang it where I'm standing. I'll go back, put it where I found it, even in the sizing where I found it. Why? Because someone did a job to get it there. Now I am the one just thinking, now, you know what, screw this person's excellence. Why? That person might just say, yes, ma'am, you did something that I expected I'm going to do. And I start winning her heart. Maybe we have a conversation. Then we start speaking about purpose. Next moment you see she's at the altar at the church, giving her heart to Christ. So excellence is missing in Christianity because some people don't connect the dots. That excellence is an example that can save a soul.
Wow. No, this is amazing. I don't know what to say. Okay, so we are coming close to an end of our podcast, and what is one habit that you think a young person must start doing in order for them to change in their, in their ways? Or let's say maybe someone, just an example. Let's say we have someone who doesn't really know what is the way forward in life. They're struggling to find their purpose and everything. Like they're just doing everything, they're winging it and hoping for the best. What would you say to someone? What can they start doing in order for them to discover their purpose?
Let's start it like this. Instead of just getting another habit that might die out, stop habits that's causing you to be the way you are. Because let's take it, for example, let's say we're going to speak about teenagers, for example. You get home after school, you scroll TikTok for 2 hours. It's a habit because it's not something you need to do. It's something you like doing. It's a habit. So, for example, you sit next to the netball field and instead of stretching, you are looking at the clouds and looking at the trees because you want to relax. That is something that is taking place every day because it's a habit that has formed. So before you think, I'm going to now read book and this, now you have too many habits that you're sustaining. So first let some habits die out and replace those habits with good habits. If you have a habit of drinking too much coffee, tell yourself, I can have the cup of coffee, but before every cup of coffee, I'm going to drink a bottle of water. Slowly you'll realize I don't need the coffee anymore because I drank a bottle of water. I'm in any case full now. So you are dying habits out while replacing them at the same time with a good habit. For me, Sundays were sleep late, maybe be forced to church with my parents. After church, we had the habit, which we call a tradition, to go buy buns, cheese, tomatoes, and chips and make buns after church and drink tea or filter coffee. It was a habit that was formed. So when I came to university, Sundays were my days. Sundays were family days. But then I started going to church. So now I'm getting the other habit out and I'm forming a new habit. Church was no effort for me to go because it wasn't a discipline. It was a decision that this is my life now. And that basically, like I said, it got rid of a certain habit that I had. Maybe it wasn't bad, but I wasn't prioritizing God.
Sure.
But now my Sunday looks like, and now people can say, obviously, habits can become a lifestyle as well. So Sundays I go to church. So this is who I am now. So if you want to, as a young person, change your life, get rid of habits that are keeping you stagnant. Go look at your habits. Maybe just take a day and be reflective. Because I have this habit when I get to work, I put on the printer, I put on my computer, quickly check my phone for last messages. That takes me, for example, let's say 10 minutes. Now, recently, I've learned on the habit to go to work 10 minutes earlier. So I do switch on. but I use extra 10 minutes to socialize with my colleagues before I get busy with work. Because that socializing creates safety, it creates trust. Now we can engage throughout the workday. Yes, Carla, you said something this morning, and we start having a conversation. So everything in your workplace becomes a type of evangelism because people are looking up to the way you think, the way you say things. So my habit from just being on time 10 minutes, getting my stuff in place for myself has changed to, you know what, let's let the 10-minute thing die and get 20 minutes. So sometimes I do get 10 minutes, but 20 minutes, do my stuff that I want, but then I'm engaging. So now that has gotten fruit because now all of us can be there for one another. All of us are going through our own things. My boss has this thing that if everybody's at work 5 minutes to 9, we pray together, and everybody must get a opportunity to pray every single morning or whatever. So it was a habit. We had the habit of we play music, we chat until the door has to open. Now the habit is put the music off 5 to 9, pray together, then open the door.
Wow.
It changed the whole atmosphere because of one habit that changed. It wasn't added, it was replaced.
Sure.
You understand? So that's what I would say to people. Figure out what habits are keeping you where you are or keeping you back. Then get a habit to replace that habit. And this is something Pastor Marissa taught me. She used to give us habit trackers that you had to write the habit and track every day that you apply it. But like I said, trying to track it and having it apply every day means something has to stop because you have only 24 hours a day.
Sure.
And if you're already spending 8 hours on habits that you have, another 2 on habits that you want to get, you're going to feel burnt out. But instead of just replacing habits, it becomes part of your life.
Wow, that's beautiful. Just to be off topic a bit, you spoke something about coffee and all that, and I think, that's one of my habits. I think you're the right person to ask. Do you think it's gonna affect my body in the future? Let's say, for example, I'm not saying I do that, but let's say I drink like 6 cups a day. Actually, I do. Let's say I drink about 6 cups a day of tea bag, Glen, or sometimes coffee. Do you think that's gonna have an effect on my health?
It can. Every person's body differs. I can't go into your brain and see how many receptors you have that the caffeine is going to bind to. So long term, yes, maybe you'll never see effects in my body, but if I drink 6 cups a day, but maybe in your body, you will get so dehydrated that you can't function properly. Just an example, coffee dehydrates you. So people think I'm drinking coffee because I'm getting fluid in, but it actually dehydrates you. And dehydration can lead to a lot of other symptoms. And it can also, for example, some people drink coffee from Monday to Friday. We're using the coffee example, using Monday to Friday. So your body is used to a certain amount of caffeine it will receive per day. But now over a weekend, you don't drink so much coffee because you don't have to focus so much. Guess what happens then? You get caffeine withdrawal symptoms. Now you get headaches. So now your body feels, but I must get coffee in. And anything that you feel I must becomes an addiction in that sense, right? It feels like, but I must drink coffee. And then it becomes a habit that's starting to change the direction of your life. For example, let's say, because I wouldn't say I had a coffee addiction, but I had a very strong habit of drinking coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
But now let's say morning prayer comes. It's 5:30 in the morning, so I have to get ready at 4:30. Now, I'm in such a rush because I overslept. I didn't get coffee. Now I arrive at morning prayer and all my mind thinks is, I didn't drink coffee. So now I'm completely distracting myself. So it's a very multifaceted answer to the question, but it depends on what your body needs. I personally decided to lower my caffeine from 6 cups to 2 cups a day because I'm getting it in, but it's not that I need it. So I learned my mind over the last let's say 2 years. Caffeine is enjoyable. I love it to feel awake when I get up in the morning, but it's not something that's needed. So if I don't get it, then so be it. You understand? And then I realized maybe I'm after the caffeine because I want that, hype of feeling awake.
Yes.
But then I realized just drink your vitamins at night and the next morning you'll feel much better.
Okay.
So it depends on your body and it depends also the quality coffee you drink. Because some people will drink 6 cups made by Vida and you won't sleep for the next 2 days because that type of caffeine content is much higher than drinking Rick coffee. And Rick coffee is only coffee flavored. It's glucose. that's flavored. So the type of quality coffee you drink also obviously has an impact. But anything we do repeatedly is something that you've either learned as a habit, or it's maybe just something you love and you enjoy.
Oh, wow, nice. That's beautiful. Okay, my last question.
Yes.
If there was someone, my last question is that now, what am I saying now? My last question is, what would you like to say to someone listening on the other side? Something that is maybe in your heart. Because I've just been asking you a question. Yeah.
If you are watching this, don't wait until tomorrow to change the way you live. It's not going to happen overnight, but it can happen with one decision. And I mean, Pastor Louis' sermons from the last few Friday mornings have taught me that. It's like God looks at your decisions. God looks at the way that you want to do things. It's not about what He only wants. He has a will, but your decisions matter. And your decisions will actually determine the way you go. So if you are sitting there, for example, and sitting in a hole of depression, decide today, what can I do different that will spike that happiness, that joy within me? So it's basically make up your mind, make a move. Don't try changing yourself. Just make a move, because if you move in the right direction, even if you leopard crawl, something's going to change. And small habits built over a few years will lead to big things. And I think Pastor Louis once said this on the stage. He said, small or big doors hang on small hinges. So very, very important is make up your mind and just choose not to change, but to be different, make different decisions that will actually cause you to go in a better direction.
Wow, nice. That's beautiful. Very last question.
Yes.
Now, there is someone who's going to be next on the podcast.
Yes.
What question would you like me to ask that person?
Let's think. I did have something this morning. The next person on this podcast. What is your daily motivation to get up? Because even as a Christian, you can't just say, "Oh, I get up because I love God." Because there's tough days. There's days I went to sleep with tears, woke up with tears. What is your inner motivation to get you up in the morning?
Wow. Okay. So I'd like to thank you very much for the time that you have came here and spent with me in the podcast. I believe this was such an effective podcast. Thank you very much.
I'm excited. Thank you so much.